Hello, beautiful souls. Thank you for stopping by my channel. I'm Michelle. This is Upgrade in Progress, and it is my intention to upgrade your human experience. So thank you. I appreciate you stopping by. And if you haven't, hit the subscribe button. And hopefully, by the time I'm done, you'll hit the like button and even share this video if it's been helpful. It's just a kind of quick message. I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about authenticity and knowing who we are. You know who you are. Who am I? What am I doing? What is my purpose here? What is my role? Am I happy? Am I fulfilled? Am I doing the things that bring me joy? These, I think, are some of the questions that help us recognize whether or not we're being authentic. We're being who we're intended to be, being who we're meant to be. Many of us, including myself, prior to my own awakening and ascension, many of us are fulfilling roles in life that we thought we had to. We think that we have to. We're obligated to. Don't necessarily want to, but we feel obligated to in some way, shape, or form. One of those examples, and I'm not sure if this is a really good example because it is still part of kind of who I am, but certainly not at all the depths of who I am. So before my transformation took place, my handle on Instagram was Lady Rider because I ride motorcycles. I have a Harley. See, I even got it tattooed. You know, I was kind of one of those hardcore Harley girls. But even though I was also a therapist, I was always empathic. I was always, compassionate and helpful. Well, hopefully I was viewed that way because I felt that way. But, and if you would have asked me a few years ago, I probably would have thought I was being my most authentic self. But I didn't realize until I went through this transformation that I had some layers to shed as well. You know, we all think we're kind of where we're at, but to step into our authenticity, I think takes some intention and some reflection and some work to dive in and answer some of those questions as far as like, who am I, and am I being genuine? Am I doing those things that I want to do, and am I showing up in the world the way that I want to show up? And my process to reflect on that was I always did it at night for some reason, as I was falling asleep. It was one of the last things I would do at night was I would kind of pray. I'd have my usual little prayers, and then I would instinctively kind of reflect back on my day, my interactions with people, and my reactions to people. In other words, I started focusing on how I responded, how I reacted, the emotions that came up. And I had to be really honest about whether or not I was genuine in those moments, or if I was defensive, or if I was hurt and trying to cover it up, or if I was, projecting some sort of insecurity or, something else onto somebody else. It's, I think, in those moments of reflection when we ask ourselves, I wonder why I snapped at that person, or I wonder why I got frustrated or irritated at this scenario. Another thing that crossed my mind was I was always like kind of in a hurry. I was that person who was always hurrying to get home. And then one day I kind of went, why are you hurrying? Ain't nobody home waiting for you. There's nothing you got to do. There's nothing happening. And I think, I don't remember who it was that said it. I want to say it was Eckhart Tolle, but that said, we're not often very present in the moment. We always are thinking that the next moment or some other moment is more important than the moment that we're in. And that kind of hit me really hard. And so self-awareness is very, very key to obviously stepping into authenticity. We have to know what's going on inside of us. And we have to have a practice in place to go, well, why am I in a hurry? Why am I doing this? Why did I just snap at that person? We have to ask ourselves these questions and be willing to allow the honest answer to come up. And we can't do that from the same place, the same state that we're in when it's created. In other words, my example of, always racing home for no particular reason, I couldn't come to that realization in the moment while I was racing. It was only kind of afterwards that I kind of went, why am I in a hurry? So, I think one, recognizing that the solution is never found in the same place as the problem. We have to be able to remove ourselves somehow, some way, mentally, physically, emotionally. We have to get in a different space than where the issue was created in order to allow for the answers to come more readily. But as I was, again, kind of sharing or thinking about the topic of this video and wanting to share about authenticity, I realized that it's a journey to kind of get to that authenticity, because we have layers upon layers of programming, wounds, traumas, beliefs, expectations, roles. All of these things kind of cover up and mask who we really are deep inside of us. And I want to encourage and invite you to identify some kind of practice that allows you to step outside of that, whether it is meditation, which I always highly encourage, because that is that is one really good way to be able to learn to quiet your own thoughts and mind, to allow what needs to come up to come up. Because without that process of allowing, we just get in our own way. Our own thoughts and our own beliefs hinder what we think. So there has to be some sort of new practice that is invited in and is incorporated into our daily routines that allow us. Think about it this way, your daily routine, no matter what it is, I'm sure is a routine. You wake up, you do the same thing, you get the same cup of coffee, you drive to work the same way, you see the same people, we do the same thing over and over and over again. And that's kind of considered our comfort zone. And for some, the death zone, because nothing happens in that world. And I recognize that more than anybody, that I was definitely a creature of habit and comfort. And I openly admit that several years ago, when somebody tried to, give me a message like this, I was like, la, 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 la. I love my ignorance, I mean, what I don't know, I don't know. So I, I remember making the choice to remain ignorant at some time and just not allow that new information in, because that meant that I was going to have to look at something, look at myself. And who wants to do that? So it was only by the grace of God that I kind of went through this transformation and was thrown into the dark and was thrown into literally kind of like the depths of hell, that I became and found my most authentic self. And I'm so grateful to be stepping into that. And it's still a little bit scary. I mean, I definitely feel authentically me. And now I need to take this authentic self and kind of wiggle her back into the world. And that's kind of where I feel like I am right now is, okay, I have a new operating system. I am really a highly sensitive, empathic person, and I have to protect that because I don't want to numb that anymore. I love and embrace my sensitivity. And what I mean is, I can cry at the drop of a hat. I mean, if I see anybody or anything suffering, I'm full bolt crying. But I also cry at the joys and the successes of other people. So I have a wide variety of emotions that I express now, and always have. It's just kind of now, it just sort of feels like on steroids. It's just much more profound and much more authentic. And when it comes up, I don't try to hide it. I don't try to stop it anymore, because what I've learned is that when I cry, which is quite a bit, it doesn't last. It's just like, it's there, it expresses itself, and then it kind of goes away. So I don't try to stop it. I just, okay, that's kind of who I am now. Just a sensitive um, person who is trying to find out, or create a way to um, be helpful in the world now, uh, and be authentically me all the time without having to deal with the bureaucratic red tape of serving others for somebody else. Meaning, um, I want to do what I always did, helping others, but I want to do it on my own now. So I invite you to check out my services, and my offerings at my website, upgradeinprogress.com, and check out my Instagram at for content at Upgrade in Progress 5D. And again, thank you so much for tuning into this video. I hope it has been helpful. Um, I hope that it expresses a little bit about kind of how we step into ourselves and how we become more authentic, um, through self-discovery, through self-love, and through self-healing. I love you guys, and I thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Namaste, friends.